This stitch is made up of two separate stitches. So underneath here, the dark red is actually a big cross stitch, lots of cross stitches put together, and then the light pink colour over the top is put on afterwards, and it's basically a stitch across the corner of each cross. What happens when you put that together is that you get a kind of a grid over the top of some crosses. So it's quite versatile in that you can do them separately and it looks like one thing. You can put them together and you get this grid. You can swap the colours over, you can change the sizes. So this one is over 5 holes by 5, this one's 3 by 3, so you can make it quite small as well and as big as you like. So you can do a lot with this stitch. So I'll show you how to form the stitch and then a few variations of it. So we'll do the big one so you can see what I'm doing. So we'll go 5 holes by 5, so that's including the one you come out of. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just going to make a big cross. Like so, and we're going to do this in the same colour. And then we're going to put a little stitch over each arm of that cross, if you like. So then you need to just come up in the middle of one of the sides, so that's the middle hole. So if you want to count it, it's 3, so in from any corner, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go across diagonally to the middle hole of the other side, which is 1, 2, 3, and then it's best to come up in the empty hole, and then I'm going to share that hole that I've just done that side. So this little stitch goes across each arm of the large cross stitch underneath. And when you do it all in the same colour, it actually makes a really nice textured square stitch. So that's one rice stitch. So you put your cross in first and then you cover the little arms afterwards. So we'll do another one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do your cross first. Try and do your crosses the same way because you can actually see in the middle where it crosses. So try and cross the same stitch over the top of the same one, if you see what I mean. So I've gone bottom left to top right. That's my last stitch that goes at the top because you can see that. If you do them the same way, it just looks a little bit neater when you've got a lot of it worked. And then I put the little arms in. Like so. Builds up a really nice kind of lattice trellisy type pattern. Really pretty in one colour actually. Much more dramatic in the two colours, but of course you could keep your colours similar and just get a subtle effect on it. Just put the arms in. And then you can also offset it, but if you're going to do the same colour, that's not going to make so much of a difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'll show you it in a different colour. Got how to count. Put the crosses in first. I'll see if I can get 2 crosses out. Should be able to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could, if you wanted to change colours, you can put all your large crosses in first. Fills in really quickly as well. So if you've got a big area that you would like to cover, this is a good stitch for that. So put your big crosses in first, and if you want to change colour for the stitches over the top, do that second. Lay your grid down, and then you can come in and put those small stitches and you'll see how different that looks all of a sudden. Just offset these crosses just so you can see what patterns you can make with it. You can put a stronger colour on top, will give you obviously a more prominent grid. There's quite a different effect to the lighter colour on top, so you could use those colours if you wanted to do something specific in a design. There's a lot of these stitches are 5 holes by 5 holes, so they're easy to mix together if you want to get lots more texture in. So that's it with a different colour on top, and then if you want to do little ones, you can do 3 holes by 3 holes. They're much tinier, obviously, but exactly the same. I'm going over those corner with the same colour, so it's a lot more solid, so you get a textured stitch. Not so much of a trellis stitch. I'm just doing some random ones now, seeing what that looks like. So I'm going to put some crosses in, and then I'll try a different colour on the top so you can just see the small ones. Mix them up a bit actually. They do need to be over an odd number of holes though. It won't work over 4 holes by 4 because you need that one in the middle to take your arm over. So do make sure that you're doing them an odd number. So 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7 if you want the large one. So let's just do the light pink over the top. Because this is smaller, I'm just going to use one strand. I'm using the Lana thread. That's a nice wool and acrylic blend that we sell in our online shop. We can put a link up to that. Lots of beautiful colours there. It's really lovely to use this thread as well. It doesn't break. I've used it double here, so I'm going to use it single now and just put those arms in. Let's see what I've done in one, just so you can see what you can do with this. It's pretty small. This is an 18 count canvas that I'm working on. Tiny ones. You want some detail in it. This is a nice one. It's nice to be able to scale a stitch. If you've got a larger area, you can scale up your stitch. If you've got a small part of a design, you can scale it down. So that's always useful to have a stitch that you can actually change the size of and still retain the features of that stitch. 2 more here, so you can see that. That's really pretty actually. Just get a little glimpse of the dark purple underneath. So you can just see by just changing the colour and changing the size how different this stitch looks. So have a play around with some different colours, see what you can come up with. There we go. It looks a lot smaller actually with the light colour and the dark colour over it. Okay, so have a little play with that, have some fun and see what you can do with rice stitch.